We set our course, spun up the engines, and went to our cryo chambers. Nemesis would do the rest and get us home safely. But Nemesis didn't get us home safely. Maybe it was the cosmic chaos through which it flew. Maybe something else. But Nemesis returned to normal space and woke us a month before reaching Mars. We could neither alter course nor send for help. We just had to wait. But we were no longer alone aboard the Nemesis. We tried to fight, tried to run, and we had some success and some defeats. All we could do was evade, hide, survive. As the days went on, we got pretty good at it, but it cost us a lot. In the end, we entered Mars's orbit. Nemesis, our savior, our prison, did what it could with its dying systems to land in one piece. And it did. Mostly anyway. Ironic to go through that hell and fall so close to Sanctuary. Untold Stories number 3, Mission 1. Greetings! I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be digging into Nemesis Lockdown Untold Stories 3. This is something I have been waiting for. We've had a chance to experience all the different characters in Lockdown, and now it's time to take on the campaign that has come with the game, and it is fully cooperative. I'm super pumped to see what this is about. Untold Stories 1 was one of my favorite things I've done so far inside the world of Nemesis, and hopefully this will be equally exciting. We're going to go through an entire setup for the very first mission. We're going to read through the comic as we continue on and see how this all unfolds, and we'll meet our two characters. That's right, we're going to be playing with two characters through this campaign. We're going to see how far we get. Last time we did pretty well. We'll see how well we do this time. If you're excited to see our characters, the setup, the beginning of Untold Stories Volume 3, and the entire campaign, then I need you to meet me at the table. There are some general rules that are going to go along with this. We'll start here by saying welcome to Untold Stories Volume 3. Super pumped, this will be great. The campaign was created for a cooperative mode of Nemesis Lockdown game, and it can be played with any number of players from 1 to 5, but note that it is especially challenging for a true solo player. It uses core box components of the game and a set of special mission tokens that come with this booklet. And this booklet was found inside the stretch goals box, so if you get the core game, you may not get this. You might have to try to find a copy of the stretch goals in order to get a copy of Untold Stories 3, because that does come with a lot of the different components, such as these type of tokens that you're going to need for the Nemesis Lockdown Untold Stories Volume 3. In a general rule, the campaign uses a fully cooperative mode presented in the game manual, page 30, with some exceptions described below. Use the standard setup described by the manual on page 6. With some modifications, you will find a specific mission setup. This is going to be very similar to Untold Stories Volume 1. You're going to set the game up exactly the way you're supposed to, except for what they tell you to do. Players may choose any characters to play in each mission, although it is recommended to use characters from Nemesis Lockdown core box and stick with the initial choice through the whole campaign. But if you want to try something different, you may use characters from Nemesis or Nemesis Aftermath, or even change characters between missions. There will be objectives. Each mission has its own objectives and victory conditions described on the mission setup page. Do not use any objective cards in this campaign. Note, ending a mission without fulfilling a specific objective ends the mission in failure, so we don't want to see that at all. Story events. During the mission, the rules will often ask you to put event tokens in various places on the board. These event tokens are then used to trigger scenes included in the comic book. For example, if you trigger an event 1 token when playing mission 1, go to event 1 in the mission, read it, and apply the rules found there. And after that, remove the event token and any auxiliary markers see below unless instructed otherwise. So here are going to be all the different markers we may see as we play. First, there is the on entry token, which will look like this. This is an on entry token. When you enter into that room, you will resolve the event as soon as the character enters it with the token. If there is also an exploration token in the room, always resolve the story event first and only then apply the exploration token and perform a noise roll if you should. The next token is an on use token. That's going to look like this. It's this type of token right here with the little fingers all over it. It says perform an action with a cost of 2 action cards in a room with this token to resolve the event. The standard room action becomes unavailable while the event token is in that room. Characters may perform on use action only when they are not in combat. The last one we have is our story triggered. The story triggered tokens are going to look like the little books. I'll see if I can find one. I have one right here. This is what it looks like, and all these do come with that stretch goals box along with the Untold Stories Volume 3 manual. Story trigger resolve in this event only and immediately after all the prerequisites listed within the comic book are completed. For example, if you send the signal, open the main gate, or perform any other action required. This is going to be super cool, so just keep these in mind as we play. Next, we have our gameplay result boxes. Any section of the comic in the frames like this one are considered to be a piece of the game rules. Remember, mission rules always override basic game rules. For example, we will see potentially these type of things. It says your campaign ends here, but if you want, you may restart the mission and try again. So hopefully we never see this. That is something we never want to see. Choices and campaign progress. At some point in the campaign, the players are asked to make a choice, or their actions will result in gaining some choice tokens. Choice tokens represent these decisions and will open up different branches of the story. Store all earned choice tokens in a choice pool located anywhere near the game board. Do not save anything beyond the circle pool, the choice pool between missions. Characters have enough time to treat their wounds, recharge their weapons, and use all gathered items between scenarios. Other tokens and markers used by some of the missions. We do have squad and block tokens that are seen here. These squad tokens are terrible. I remember these from the first one. It was not fun. I had to run from it. It was out of control. Next thing we have is death. If any character dies during the mission, remember that you may always use the emergency room to revive them. This only works in co-op campaign, or actually in the co-op mode for the base game as well. You can, if they die, you can actually bring people back in the emergency room. If they are not revived before the end of the mission, nothing bad will happen, as their companions will heal their wounds between scenarios. So good news, even if you are knocked out during the mission, if we do go on to the next one, you will come back. However, if all characters die during a mission, the mission is lost. You may try restarting it again, discard all choice tokens gained in this mission from the choice pool, or if you want a more brutal and realistic playthrough, restart the campaign. Next, we have the interruption action card. Now, in the original Untold Stories mode, the interruption card sometimes held value inside the game. It says if you still had this card, certain things may happen in there. But according to this one, it says the missions of the campaign are played in a fully cooperative mode. As a result, the interruption card presents in all character decks. It becomes useless. Ignore the text in the card, which is really too bad. I kind of wish they would have added some of that element from the first one, where do you want to discard that interruption card? Who knows? Maybe that story moment you're about to trigger could be affected if you had that in your hand or not. But alas, they're just going to make it a non-factor, and you're just going to use it to probably move or shoot guns or use room actions or things like that. So just keep that in mind when we draw it out of our deck. Saving the campaign. The full campaign might take many hours to play through. If you wish, you may stop the campaign after every completed mission. If this is the case, simply keep the choice pool in a separate bag and take note of which mission you should start from when you return to the game. To start the campaign, read mission 1, introduction, on the next page. Are you ready? I am super pumped. Now we got some idea of how everything's gonna work. It's time to realize what is gonna happen to us inside Nemesis Lockdown, the Untold Stories Volume 3. Oh, super pumped. Here we are at the intro to Untold Stories number 3, Mission 1. And like you saw in the intro, they wrapped everything up from the Nemesis, which was pretty cool, and now we're down here on Mars. 1 hour later. No further signals. Maybe it was only those two. These ships run with 6-person crews. That means we need to keep looking. They might have died during the crash, boss. So we look for the bodies then. Tell her about the generators. Getting some strange fluctuation from the generators might be damage to their housing. Maybe something more severe. Need to assess the situation fast. Understood. Send someone to keep them going. We'll send a full crew once we're finished here. But boss, this can't... Wait. Dun dun dun. That can't be good. Critical alert. Main power failure. Main power offline. Life support offline. Communications offline. Transport offline. What the hell? Boss, what's your status? Something exploded out there. We're getting no readings from the generators. I'll try to power up backup generators. Damn, no response. Keep trying them. Critical alert. Main power failure. They might still be alive out there. Or not, but right now we've got no power, no life supports. We need all hands getting us back online or we're all dead. Carl, Arya, go up to the backup generators. We're heading to life support. Oh, and you know what? Let's get those survivors from the ISO rooms too. Super cool intro. Here we go. Mission setup 3 and 4. So these numbers represent, if you were to start at the very beginning of the setup in the instruction manual, you're going to replace the numbers with these numbers right here. So we're going to be returning the nest, room 1, and contaminated room 2 to the box. They will not be used in this game. We're going to place the power generator in room 3. We're going to put the vent control room in room 25, transmitter control room in 1, testing lab in 27, and the guard room in 8. I will show you the full board once we go through this. Set item counters in these rooms to 0. Place the remaining rooms 1 and 2 as normal. Before preparing underground exploration tokens, return all fire tokens to the box. They will not be used in this game. Place exploration tokens in rooms 1, 3, 8, 25, and 27, even though they are already revealed. And remember, the underground ones are going to be these brown ones. These are the overland ones. So we're going to be removing all the fire exploration tokens that have this back to them. Do not place the elevator or rover on the board. They are not used in this mission. Remove power token number 4 from the game. Place the remaining power tokens as normal. Do not place CSS tokens. They are not used in this mission. Do not place egg tokens on the laboratory board. Eggs are not used in this mission. Use the following intruder tokens to repair the intruder bag. We're going to put 1 blank, 2 larva, a creeper, and an adult. Then add 1 additional adult token for each player taking part in the game. So we'll be adding 2 more adult tokens. Remove the computer action A card from the computer action deck before placing them on the board. Remember, objective cards are not used anywhere in the comic. Return contingency tokens to the box. They are not used in this mission. Players choose characters instead of the character draft cards, and we will see our characters very shortly as soon as we finish up with the setup. Nemesis survivors start in the isolation room, and facility workers will start in the alert room. Additional setup, place fire markers in room section S1. Place the event 3 token on the 12 slot of the time track and resolve it as soon as the time token reaches it. Place the event 4 token on 13, same thing, and place the block token on the vent control room. Place event 1 token plus an on-use token on the backup power supply room. No campaign would be complete without some special rules. You cannot use vent control room's action as long as there's a block token on it. The contingency procedure is disabled. The contingency tokens are not used in this mission. Players cannot use the isolation room to lock themselves in. The main gate cannot be opened and the bunker is inaccessible. When you enter a revealed room with an exploration token, resolve the exploration token and then set the item counter according to the exploration token. Do not draw any events until the scenario asks you to do so. In the first phase of the mission, there are no intruders. When resolving an encounter, take an intruder token from the intruder bag and resolve its effects for the intruder bag development. Return the token to the intruder bag afterward. The intruder bag development works differently. The effects of individual tokens are listed below. So the larva, the facility crumbles. Place a malfunction marker in the room with the lowest number containing a no malfunction tokens. If I draw an adult, the fire spreads. Place a fire marker in each room neighboring a fire with a fire marker. Creeper, open all doors. Blank, open all doors. Sweet. So I'm going to draw creepers and blanks. That'll be fantastic. No adults and no larvas. Our objective, the facility is in critical condition. The power and life support systems are down. You must restore the power to the facility and the functioning of life support systems. Otherwise, you will die. Make sure you prevent the facility from collapsing from fire and malfunction. Send an emergency request to the Syria Planium base. Completing the mission ends when an event says so. So we're going to start playing and hopefully get to a good ending. Here's the board after the setup according to our mission objective setup scenario thing for mission 1. We have all the rooms put down there and the ones we're supposed to be placed in certain places. We have our vent control room over here. We do still have our backup power supply here, which has an on-use token in it along with a story marker 1. Our 3 and 4 story markers are right over here. We did put those exploration tokens in some of the places even though they are shown here. And of course all of them are set. Oh, this one needs to be be set to 0. There you go. They're all set to 0 so that you can't gain any items in there. There's a fire token right down here according to the guide. We placed out the power, and sadly for us, 3 is up here, so it is offline, but 1 and 2 are firing up just fine, and they are here and here ready to go. We have removed computer card A, which makes a lot of sense because it moves the rover. It lets us deal with CSS tokens or deal with contingency tokens, and since none of those are in play for this objective, it totally makes sense as to why that is not in the deck right over here. And all the exploration tokens are on the board. We did remove some of the fire ones from those objective tokens. We do have our bag down here that we have to create, which is going to have 1, 2, 3 adults. Then we're also going to have that larva token, the creeper token, and the blank token. We are going to stick all of them into our handy little Nemesis bag here. Give it a good old truffle shake here. Can't do a shuffle. So we got our little tokens all in there, and we're all set to go for this adventure. Let's check out who is going to be part of this campaign. The first character that's going to be part of our campaign is the android. This one got the most votes for my Patreon, so this is the one we're going to be playing. This does have a new set of cards for Lockdown, which we are using. They're not the ones from the original Nemesis Aftermath campaign, game. This is going to be a full set of new cards, which is pretty cool. The miniature is still the same. She is right here. She's still got her super cool green outfit that we painted up from last time. I'm going to place her right down there. She does come with a brand new starter card. This is the starting item for the android, so it does start with it. It says UPS Energy 3. This item cannot be traded or discarded. If you remember, this character has a lot of power. This character was really powerful and did a lot of cool things it could do in the deck, but they have really minimized it here by this card right here. Each time you reshuffle your deck, discard 1 energy from the item. If you have to discard energy and there is none, you die. So that's terrible. We'll place that right there, and I'm going to put 3 energy cubes on it right like that. This is going to be our first character. Let's check out the second one. The second character we're going to be using is the Xenobiologist. I had a blast playing with this character, so I'm bringing her back again for our campaign. This is my favorite one out of the group that we originally played through in Lockdown. Of all the different characters, this one was sweetness. So we're going to play with this one. She has her probe arm here that has 3 uses. This item cannot be traded or discarded. If you use this in combat, you discard 1 use, place 1 carcass on this card. Do not place a carcass in if 1 is already present. Or discard a tool belt or duct tape to fully restore the uses on this item. And I played this wrong in our playthrough, which is another reason I want to play it. It does not have a heavy symbol here, so this does not go into our left or right hand, which is how I was playing it. And that makes total sense because it's coming out of her back and into play. Here's her miniature. I had painted her up. I think this is one of the ones we painted during our live paint-episodes that I do. This is her. She's super cool. I'm super excited to play with her, and she has this Overmind card that hopefully we can get to. Interestingly enough, she'll be really weird to play with for the very beginning because she has a lot to do with knowledge. A lot of the cards to do with knowledge, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of gaining knowledge for this first scenario, but I could be completely wrong. We'll see how it goes. Next, we'll look at the laboratory board. We do not place any eggs in the nest. We have put out a research. Remember, our survivors do get to start at 3, and the android is technically a Nemesis survivor. I am going to shuffle these out and place them out there. Even though it told us not to put anything in the nest, it didn't tell us anything about changing up the way these hit the board. So we do have these 3 weaknesses out, and this one is able to be used by the android. It says fragile exoskeleton. Any classic or melee weapon attack that deals at least 1 injury deals an additional injury. That's fantastic. Let's find one of those weapons. Of course, you know, the survivors from the actual Nemesis game never gain any weapons right at the beginning of the game, which is too bad because they really could use some. And even though it told us to take out action card A from the computer deck, it didn't tell us to change anything about these decks. So these are all shuffled and ready to go. We have our red revealer, all of our different item decks, our crafting deck, our attack deck, event deck, we have our serious wounds, and we have also our contamination cards ready to go. The only thing left to do is figure out who our first player is. Normally we just draw the cards. I'm not going to do that this time. We're going to roll some dice. I'm going to roll this one for her and this one for her. She got a higher number. She will be our first player. She'll take the first player token and place it there. Let's begin by drawing our cards. We'll start with the android. The android gets 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because we are starting inside the isolation room, we get an extra card, so we have 6. Now remember, whenever we go through this deck, I have to remove one of these tokens. So this could be interesting playing with this type of character in a campaign type setting. So we have demolition, which we've seen before in other games. We have repairs. We have computer skills. Open or close one door in a corridor connecting to a room you're in, or if you're in a room with a computer, use its room action without paying its cost. We have power up. If you are in a section with power, flip this section's power token to the active side and add 2 energy to the UPS. Oh, that's pretty good. So she's going to be draining power, but giving herself back some of this UPS stuff that she needs here. Discard a weapon battery and add 2 energy. Oh, that's good too. Okay, so that's how she's going to be able to get some stuff back. That's going to be fantastic. Network access. If you are in a room with a computer and in a section with power, use the computer action. You may perform 2 actions from the computer card. If you are in a room with a computer, open or close one door in a corridor. I got paint all over my hand from our painting episode we did last night. So sorry about all the paint on my hands, but it was really cool. We got to paint up some really neat miniatures. Speaking of miniatures, we have this one right here. This is our android, all 7 painted from our Aftermath game. I'll place this into the isolation room. Next, we have our xenobiologist. She will take 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She is not in the isolation room. She'll be placed in the repository. She has her search card, her repairs card, her pheromones card, her workspace plan card, and she has her visceration card as well. It'll be, again, interesting to play with this character since normally we're looking for knowledge and things to increase our abilities and our powers, but a lot of that might not come into play at the very beginning here. We'll place her miniature right here. We've painted this one up in one of our painting episodes as well. We put this miniature into the repository. Our xenobiologist did draw the first player token, so she'll be going first. I think what we're going to do is we are going to use our pheromones card to move. I'm not going to have to need this right now. This is going to be discard an egg carcass after an intruder attacks to ignore its attacks. This has something to do with attacks and egg tokens and carcasses and things. We don't have anything to do there. We're going to move down this corridor. We're going to check out what's here. Now remember, these do have these exploration tokens. Oh, a danger symbol. That's too bad. Now this is still going to remain at 0 from what I understand, even though this token says 2. I could be wrong about that. If I am, please let me know in the comments below. We are going to put a danger symbol, so we're going to put noise in all the areas. That's not the best start for this, and we're going to just place these down in these places right here. This one, of course, will be going into the technical corridors. I'm going back and forth on this. I think what I am going to do is I am going to turn this to 2. When we originally set this up, it told me to put it to 0. But it also told me to put the tokens on. When the token's revealed, you're going to set the counter to the number here and follow this instruction here. So since it was danger, we put our danger tokens out. And since there's a 2, we've placed it so that there are 2 items in this room. Again, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below, but I think that's how they're intended to use this. For my second action, we're actually going to power this place up. I'm going to use my visceration and my repairs card. Those are going to be the 2 card payment to be able to use the power generator right here. So I'm going to be able to power up a section by spending those 2 cards. Using the room allows me to power up the area in which this is in. Since 3 does not have any power, it does now. Moving over to the Android, we're going to decide that we're going to do some moving. My goal is to get to the power generator, the backup power supply, I should say. That's going to be our plan here. I can use this to use an action from the room you're in without paying its cost. I want to save this for the backup power supply. So we have 5 other cards that we have to choose and use one of these to move. But all of our cards are fantastic. It's pretty funny. I want to use the repairs card. I think we're going to, I want to save the repairs card too, because maybe when you get there, it's broken. Because remember, there's a thing that says here on use. So we're not sure. Maybe that thing's broken. So I want to make sure we could pick it up as well. And I do have my power up. I want to keep that as well, that I could potentially drain the power to give myself some more UPS. So I think we're going to use our access. We're going to use our network access here for 0 cards, or it costs 0 to do it, but we're not going to use it for that. We're going to use it to move. And I'm not going to do a careful move. We're just going to use a regular move. Let's see what we have found. We have found the cargo sending system C. That's fantastic. We'll see what is in this thing here. We have 3 and it is broken, which is bad news. We'll put this to 3 and then we'll add a malfunction token to this room as well. Now that we've done that, we also are going to have to roll our noise roll and see what we get. We have a 4. We'll place some noise in 4, which happens to be the direction we're going, which is always a real good thing. I'm going to move over to this side now, and we're going to play a couple other cards here. I'm going to use my, this is so tough. I'm going to use my computer skills card. We're going to use that card to be able to check out this place now. Hopefully this place isn't broken too. We have found the archives. I can examine the archives here, which is going to give us more knowledge, which would be really good. And this has a door that is shut behind me. I was kind of afraid of that. But the good news is it's not actually in front of me, which is where we do not want to see a door. Placing our door down in this corridor, we'll roll up our noise roll. We've got a 2. I'll place noise in 2, which is again where we're going. That's awesome. I do want people to be aware that even though this noise token is on one or the other side of the door, this is considered to be noise inside this entire corridor, anywhere in it. So even though there is a door right here, it's still going to be possible to roll a 4 over on this side and trigger the noise. Or if the noise token's over here, if you roll a 4 on this side, it's triggering the noise as well. These aren't 2 separate places blocked off by that door. At this point, I am going to use my search card in this room. If I'm not supposed to be able to do this, that's okay. We'll take this back and get back our item, but I'm going to turn it to 1. We're going to draw a couple from the items deck and see what we get. First, we'll take our items deck. I haven't had a chance to give these a good old truffle shuffle yet, so we're going to truffle shuffle these all up a little bit, grab a couple cards, and see what we're able to find from this item deck. The first thing we have found is a thermal charge. Choose one room that you are in or a neighboring and placing a function or fire marker in the room. All characters and intruders in the room suffer a light wound or an injury. Or we have duct tape. I think it's going to be duct tape. It's going to be the winner here. Now, sadly, neither of these are going to be used for crafting, which is too bad. I was kind of hoping they would, because in the repository you can craft for less cards. It says discard a malfunction marker in the room you're in, or use to add 1 heavy item to 1 heavy item in your character's hand, being able to put 2 heavy items into one place, which is pretty sweet. It's kind of like duct taping the pulse rifle and the flame unit together in Aliens. It was absolutely awesome. I'm going to keep the duct tape. We're going to discard this. I don't think we're going to need that. Of course, I could be totally wrong. That could be the key to victory here. I do have 1 card left, and we are going to move back to the repository just in case this fire spreads into here. Remember, during the bag development steps, it's going to be a little bit different, and one of the things I could do is fire could spread. Having moved back over there, we are going to roll our noise roll. We got a 4. I am going to have to remove this and draw a token from here. We'll draw and see what we have got. We're probably going to cause the fire to spread. Who knows? Let's see what we found here. We have found a creeper. We have found a creeper. The creeper symbol will open all doors in the area, or open all doors. So this door down at the bottom, this door is now open. So I'm going to remove it from the board. Also, I do want you to know that during this part, there are no intruders. So whenever you do an encounter, you're resolving an intruder bag development, which is the same as what I was just talking about here. I'll show you again in the book. It says right down here, the intruder bag development works differently, and it says here during this first mission there are no intruders. When resolving an encounter, take an intruder token from the intruder bag and resolve its effect as if it was an intruder bag development. Also, another thing I failed to remember is it does say right here, when you enter a revealed room with an exploration token, resolve the exploration token and set the item counter according to the exploration token. So I was supposed to set this to the actual number. They only start at 0. Once you resolve this token, then you're going to set it to what it is. So we did that correctly, which makes me super happy. That actually worked out really well. We got rid of the door and we got rid of a noise token as well. That's the end of her turn. She doesn't have any more cards that she can use. She used all 5 of them. The last one she used was the workplace one to move, workspace plan. That's the end of her turn. She's going to be passing. We're going to the android now. The android will use her demolition card to move over to the backup power supply, and then she will use her efficiency card. Use an action from the room you are in without paying its action cost. I am going to use this one right here, and this does have on use. You are going to read 01 in the campaign book. I'm at the backup generators. Power control is functioning. Let's hope the problem was remote activation then. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Here goes nothing. Yes, backup generators are online. We're still screwed. That explosion must have damaged the power grid. At least we've got light in several sections. Comms report online. We can manage, at least for now. Resolve the standard effect of the backup power supply. Remove the block token from vent control room. Place the event 2 token plus an on-use token in the vent control room. All right, I guess we're going to go use the vent control room next. Let's see how that goes. We'll flip our token over to the other side. Remember now, if it was on the red side, we'd be losing power every time we pass a red space on this. With the blue token now, we're only going to lose power when it crosses any line that has a blue thing, and that starts about 10 or 11. At this point, using the backup power supply, I can also rearrange the power nodes if I wish to, and I think we are. I'm going to take the 1 node, I'm going to place it down in this area, and I'm going to place the 2 node up in the S1 area. Our powered 3 section will just be the middle of the board, because so far we haven't had anything that has to do with that yet. Our vent control room is right here. I'm going to remove the block token and place an on use and a number 2 token. We'll place that right on this room here, and that's our next objective according to this thing, unless of course something else pops up. There is some actions that could be some story moments that will happen during the time track. I do have 2 cards left, and one of them is my power up card. Let's take a look at this one again. If you're in a section with power, flip the section's power token to its inactive side and add 2 energy to your UPS. Discard the weapon battery, add 2 energy to your UPS. Okay, I don't have any of these, but I do have this. Knowing that, we're actually going to put power 3 here because it's going to lose anyway, so we're going to rearrange these a little bit differently. I'm going to put 1 up at the very top, 2 in S2, and 3 in S3. We're going to drain that and give myself 2 more energy by using our power up card, and it costs 0. If you notice, almost all her cards cost 0. She's a super powerful character. One of my favorite from the last one. At this point, I am going to use my repairs card to move 1 space, and we're going to move right over to here, and we'll roll for noise once we enter that area there. We got a 2. We'll place a noise token on 2. It's always where I'm going. That's pretty awesome. That's going to be the end of her turn. She's also out of cards. We are done. Moving to our event phase, we're going to launch our CSS pods. Remember, we're not using any of those during this mission. I am going to move the time track down, and as you notice, it's crossing a red line, so it's not going to affect our power at all. But when it does cross this blue line, then we're going to have to worry about the power in the place. At this point, we're going to remove all of the noise in the area that are lit, that are not adjacent to us. That's only going to be 1 token. Sadly, I removed all of the. I would love to remove all the noise from area 3, but I used the power to keep her alive, so we don't get to remove any. We'll check for intruder attacks, fire damage, and then resolve event cards. None of that is going to take place in this first beginning mission of the campaign. We are going to move to the intruder bag development. We'll reach into our handy dandy bag of Nemesis tokens here and see which one of these I am able to pull out. Kind of mix up a little bit inside that bag and pull out this one. I have found an adult. So the adult for the campaign is the one that is going to be spreading fire. So we're going to spread it to each room that is adjacent to the room with fire, which is bad news. Now I think it's rooms. I don't know if it's going to be this quarter down here, but I am still going to place one down there just like that. But it does say to place fire marker in each room neighboring a room with a fire marker. I'm not sure if these are considered rooms or not. I believe they are. These are definitely rooms. So right now we have 4 fire markers on the board, leaving us with only 8 fire markers left. Remember, if you cannot place a fire marker when you're told to, the place explodes and burns up in a blaze of fiery glory. Since this is an intruder bag development, the tokens that you draw from the bag do go right back into the bag. It's not like an encounter where you're going to be removing them once you draw them. Moving to the next turn, I get to draw 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4. And since we are shuffling her deck, we are going to remove 1 from the UPS. I'm down to 4. We did gain those extra 2, which is super key. So we're going to give these a good old truffle shuffle here and give 1 more card to her. Let's see what she gets. She's going to grab that one. I don't see why I don't use that power card to gain these every single time almost. She's got herself her search card, a self-repair card, which allows her to discard a duct tape or tool belt to dress one of your serious wounds or heal all your light wounds. Or I can discard a malfunction marker in the room you're in. Oh, that's going to be good. Oh, and I don't even need to use the duct tape. It's just going to discard a malfunction marker in the room you're in. That's good. The interruption card that, according to our rules, says it does nothing during this. It could fool us later. We'll see. Search and our demolition cards are back again along with another search card. All right, those are her 5 cards, and she's going to take her first player token. Our xenobiologist will grab her 5 remaining cards as well. She has demolition, search, rushed analysis, interruption, and field expert. What does rushed analysis do? Scan all contamination cards in your hand. Remove all unaffected cards. If you removed at least 1 contamination card, gain a knowledge. All right. So I was really hoping that she'd be able to just gain knowledge somehow. Choose a story one. I think she has one where she's able to gain knowledge, but I can't remember which card. Oh, here it is. Reduce the item counter by 1 to gain 1 knowledge. So if I wanted to, I could start gaining knowledge with her. This is going to be a little risky, but we need to get going here. I'm going to play my interruption card to move. We're going to move over to here. I could have played 2 cards to do a careful move, and because right now I'm sitting at a 50-50 of whether or not I'm drawing from the bag. Remember, if we draw an adult, that's going to be more fire out here on the board, which is going to be Bad News City. But we're going to roll this up, see what we get. We got a 2, which is, of course, here. I'm going to remove the noise from here, and I'm going to remove the noise from the technical corridors as well. We'll draw one of our tokens out of the bag. Hopefully we get a creeper or a blank. That would be fantastic. We have found, nope, another adult alien. Oh, no. Fire again will spread. It's going to spread to this room, and it's going to spread to this room down there. Lucky for us, there's not too many more connected rooms. I am going to be spreading it into 3 more places after that. So we really only am able to draw that token maybe 2 more times before bad things happen. I wish I had some kind of fire extinguisher. We need to go find one. We need to find a fire extinguisher. We're going to keep moving. I'm going to use one of my search cards to move into this room right here. Oh, I forgot to reveal this room. I've got to reveal the room. Let's see what we found. I forgot about that completely. We have found ourselves the surgery room. All right, we'll put that right there and see what is inside here too. And oh, there's no noise. So actually, that's really good. I failed miserably. I forgot. I don't have to roll the noise. I got to see what it is. So I'm going to put these back. I didn't even realize that. I totally forgot to check out the room. So since this is a quiet room, I don't even have to roll for noise in this room. But I am going to put this one back in the technical corridors, and this one will be placed back down on 2, which is a little bit off board here. Now at this point, we will use that search card to move over to this room and reveal this token here. We have found a door. So we are going to place a door right here. Now we will roll for noise this time for sure. Let's see what we found. We got a 4, which is actually pretty good. It's going to be in this area here, so I'll place a noise token there. Hopefully we don't have to get back to the surgery room because it's surrounded by noise. And that's her 2 actions. She's moved twice. We'll move back to the xenobiologist now and see what she can do. This is going to be a little risky. I want to move over to the transmitter control room, and I can send the signal here. It doesn't say right now that I have to send the signal, but it does say at some point we're going to have to get in contact with somebody according to our objectives. So I'm going to guess at some point we probably need to send the signal. It's on fire, which means I'm going to be taking a light wound, but I'm going to move with my interruption card down to here and see what this token is. I got slimed. That's fantastic. We'll put this to a 3. And even though I'm slimed, I'm still able to use that room action. So I am going to use my demolition and my rushed analysis to use this room, meaning I'm able to send the signal then. Good news, bad news, we're able to send the signal. Good news, bad news, we're slimed. And even more bad news, because we have ended our actions in a room with fire, I'm going to take a light wound. Sadly, I do not have an Enviro suit, which is absolutely fantastic. I want to get one. I love those things. That's the end for her 2 actions. She still has 2 cards left, so she can get out of there before she takes more damage. Of course, if I passed right now, when we go to the fire step on our event track here, that is not going to be towards our heroes. It's going to be towards any of the intruders. So this only affects a person when they finish their 2 actions inside of a room. Are they going to take damage according to fire? For our android, we are going to use our demolition and search card. We are going to use these 2 cards to activate this room because it says on activation, we are going to check out story moment 2. Not really sure exactly what we're going to do in the vent control room, but hopefully it'll be something cool. All right, folks, I'm in position. Not a moment too soon. Get ready to breathe deep. Phew, seems our death sentence just got delayed. Our backup life support system is online. Oxygen supply is 6 hours. So we're able to get the oxygen back up and running. We have light in the place. We're doing pretty good here. Remove the event 3 token from the time track, so that's not going to have to worry about that. Place an event 6 token plus an on entry token in the transmitter control room. Isn't that, that's where we are right now. All right, so I think we're going to have to walk back and forth to make that on entry happen. We'll have to look into that. See what we can do. We'll remove these 2 tokens. Also, I need to set this to 3. I didn't do that. So we'll turn this to 3. And that's I'm going to pass for her. She still has 1 card, but I don't think there's much left to do. I want to see what happens in that control room first. We'll remove our 3 from this board and place an on-entry token here at 6. I'm already here. We're going to take a look at this. If the story has to do with moving into this to make this happen, we'll do that. Otherwise, if it's something that happens while you're in this room, we're going to say that it's already taking place. So let's go ahead and look at the book. Where there's one, there is many. I've learned that the hard way. Looks like we've stumbled upon some of the intruders here. It's just like on good old Nemesis. So down here it says all characters perform a noise roll in order and place an and place the Event 7 token plus an unused token in the transmitter control room again. Well, that's pretty funny. We're going to do that in just a second here too. I went there by accident thinking I'm going to have to do it anyway, and I've just actually a couple steps early when it comes to the actual story of the campaign. That's kind of funny. She'll perform a noise roll here. We've got a silence symbol. That's awesome. And I'm also going to roll for the android right here as well, and she's got a 2. That's going to place noise right there in that corridor. I'll place an on use for a token 7 in the transmitter control room, but I do have 2 cards left, so I'm going to use those to activate this thing right here and see what happens. Most channels are dead air, but I'm picking up Syria Planium Colony, patching it through. Syria Planium, this is Requiem Station requesting immediate assistance and evac off-site. We have multiple fatalities. We're on backup power and emergency life support. Cannot evac survivors. This is Syria Planium Command. We copy, Requiem. What happened? We sustained major damage during the crash landing of an unplanned inbound flight, SMV Nemesis. Moreover, not a word about the monsters. They have come prepared. They'll just signal the military to bomb our debris. Why would they do that? All players take a vote, which is just me. They must come prepared. Inform them about the monsters, despite the fact they may order the military to annihilate us. Go to Event 7A. They will come unprepared, but faster. Go to Event 7B. Okay, I know how this is going to go. If I'm doing the last Nemesis game, the military wanted to take this ship and was doing anything it possibly could to do it, and they came and I actually had to run from them, and it was not fun. We're not going to tell them about the monsters. We're just going to go to 7B, and hopefully the monsters will destroy them, and I'll be able to take their ship and get out here. I'm such a wonderful person. Be advised, there are readings of an active reactor inside the wreckage. We don't know if the wreckage is stable. Place a choice B token in the choice pool. Go to event 0C7C. Similar to the first one I played, you're going to be gaining these different choice tokens, and as we continue through this campaign, these are going to be the way that determines some of the differences in the way the campaign will turn out. This is really a cool system. I like this a lot. It's fun and easy. Understood. Hang tight, Requiem. We're en route. First good news in a while. Help is coming. We just need to hold on. Go to Mission 2. There we have it. That is the beginning of Nemesis Lockdown Untold Stories Volume 3. We have our B token for our pool. We'll place that with our characters. Other than that, we're doing pretty good. We have some, none of our guys are actually hurt. We do have some slime on one of our characters, and I guess we sent the signal, but I didn't even need to. Little did I know, but that's okay. That's the best part about this, is as you're going through, different things are going to evolve and happen inside of this station, outside of just the normal play of Nemesis. It's one of the reasons I really enjoy the campaign. Hopefully this one will be as exciting as the first one, and so far it's turning out to be pretty good. I had raging fire throughout the place. I had both our characters working together to try to get through this part. Now the interesting thing is, if I would have only had people in the repository, this would have been a totally different mission, because I would have had to get people down to that power backup supply center and also all the way back up to the terminal control room. So this would have been a way different scenario if I didn't have an actual survivor from the original Nemesis in the game itself. Super cool though. I'm excited to continue this one. I hope you are as well. If you did enjoy the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when more of the Nemesis Lockdown comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Have you had a chance to play through this, and did you enjoy it? Or are you looking forward to seeing this playthrough all the way through? I am. I'm super excited to see what transpires. Also, please check the description of this video for my Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. That is one way to do it. You're able to help me not only figure out what we're going to paint, you can also pick some of the characters. The android was chosen for this Nemesis Lockdown Stories due to votes inside of my Patreon. So please check that out. If you're interested in joining and helping out the channel, that would be fantastic. Of course, it is completely optional. I will not be reducing any of the content based on anything not provided by my Patreon. So don't worry, this channel is not changing at all. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see the rest of Nemesis Lockdown Untold Stories Volume 3, then I need you to meet me at the table.